Well, welcome to another episode of Tree Service Marketing Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Wesley Smith with treeservicedigital.com. Hope everybody's having a great week. Got a business owner today to tell his unique story about his tree service company. Bryce Tufts, head of marketing and business partner of Tree Fish in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Bryce, welcome aboard, man. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love everything you guys are about. So really happy that you invited us over here. So
We're happy that you decided you wanted to tell your story. So thanks so much for sharing. I think it just helps out the community. People always like to hear from other business owners, what they're doing, how they got there. So I guess we'll start with, did you have a background in the tree service industry before you guys, went into partnerships, kind of got into the business, or how did that kind of all transpire?
yeah, so my background completely different. I was in marketing, video production. I worked in ad campaigns. I was an art director at a couple places. Moved around U.S. a little bit. I was from Grand Rapids, so we moved back up here when my business partner, whose name is Spencer Fish, purchased Tree Fish from his father, Craig Fish, who started it probably, about I think it was about a little over 10 years prior to when the purchase took place. So Craig was Spencer's dad. He's a genius guy, but he was a full-time pilot. And so they do like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off kind of deal. And because Craig is crazy, he started a tree service on the weeks that he was here. So he's a super friendly guy. He would build a lot of his equipment. He built his own grapples for the mini skid steers and super fun guy and crazy and everything. And he got his son into taking down trees at the age of 12. So they were like a two-man team for years and years and years, and they worked with various other people. And then Spencer and I were friends, all growing up and everything. And Spencer wanted to start a business, so he started lawn care. So when he started lawn care, something separate from what his dad was doing, he called me up, and because I was in marketing, we got the website up, and we kind of, got all that stuff done for him. Um, and it kind of worked well for a little bit until his dad was looking to retire. Kind of, he was getting to, between being a pilot and doing the tree service, it was just a bit much. Yeah, Spencer was not really excited about the lawn care aspect of that business. He kind of liked trees more. He had more experience in it. The price points were higher. It was more equipment based. So he wanted to purchase that from his dad. And when he wanted to do that, he gave me another call and he asked if we wanted to do it together. And we did. So I moved back up here. Treefish had pretty much no digital presence at all. I think we had a Yelp page. That was about it. Not on Google. I think it might have been in the yellow pages, like the paper yellow pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we started from scratch, getting everything set up to kind of we had the goal of we wanted to be number one top service in Grand Rapids, and I said yes because he had a moment of genius when he named the company, he named it Treefish. And ever since I was a kid, and they'd be out working, I was like, that is a great name. That is the best. Because I've always been obsessed with brands they're not just making sales, they're not just getting leads, they're iconic. And you've got, you're in people's heads as something special all the time, not just they give you a call and they see it could have just been Craig's tree service, but instead it was Tree Fish, and that was really special.
Very memorable. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Exactly. So a
Mhm.
stroke of genius on Craig kind of inspired everything that came after that. So when I moved back up here, we kicked off the marketing. We got every asset and point kind of put into place. I wanted the brand to be something that you don't see in, tree service is a wild west. It's crazy when it comes to marketing and what you end up finding. So I wanted Treefish to be like the iconic brand for Grand Rapids, Michigan. I want it to be. We have a couple other companies out here that I remembered specifically growing up. There's one place out here called Mole Busters. And when you're a kid, if they drive down the road and they'd have on each one of their cars, they had uh, some sort of plastic mole. I still know how they did it, but a plastic mole on the top of every truck and its eyes lit up. And it looked like insane. And I was like, that's the type of company I want. Like we're
Something
kids.
you don't forget when you see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never forget it. You think they're national, and you learn later that they were local, and it blows your mind. So that's what the goal was, is we wanted to make something that was absolutely out there and iconic and fun. So we did the logo. We came up with a mascot, which I got him on a pillow.
Oh, cool.
Here he's on a little pillow. So we got our tree fish, and the
There you
logo is
go.
kind of stretched out. But we got him all set up. Spencer has the years of experience in trees. I wanted to learn it, so I worked with him out for probably a year or so, chipping and cutting down trees, and ton of fun, until I eventually became the lazy business guy in the background again.
Hey, hey, it's all important stuff though, man. You got to get that phone ringing and get that name out there. That's the other
Exactly.
side. That's a whole other side of it, a whole other set of skills. So cool, man. So
Yeah.
pretty much a unique story there. So Spencer, your business partner, essentially had a lawn care business, which we see this sometimes too. People have like a landscaping company and they kind of dive into some tree work and they think, hey, I think I like this tree work a little bit better. I think I want to do that. I mean, other people catered more to landscape and they stick there, and that's fine. Everybody's kind of got their own journey, but it kind of sometimes they'll pivot and then they say, I think I want to just do tree service now from now on. And so he was doing the lawn care, and his dad was already in tree service, tree care, so he kind of knew the business. And then
Exactly.
came a point where there's a fork in the road, I guess, too, with his dad wanting to either retire, do something different, and you start thinking about this as a family company. Like, I don't want to let this go. So
Exactly.
he worked out an acquisition or purchase from his dad, which that's a cool story. And then you were kind of off doing something else, and then it kind of was a conversation that evolved into, hey man, let's grow this thing together.
Yep.
And did you come in like after he was already rolling, or was it like kind of the same time that it kind of all kind of came together?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mess because we at first we tried to. He wanted to sell the lawn stuff. I was like, maybe we can do them both at the same time. And so I
Yeah.
came up here, immediate was like, no, let's get rid of this lawn stuff. So we we sold all of the lawn equipment and everything. Got the whole kind of transfer over between him and his dad. His dad actually retired being a pilot. I think he didn't want to be as much running the business anymore, but he seemed really happy kind of running equipment and maintaining everything. So he joined on full time after that. Um, but yeah, there was a little bit of a transition period of getting in, kind of getting all of our old equipment sold. The big goal on operations that we kind of set out to, and this was mostly Spencer, the business partner's idea, was he kind of saw the direction that trees and the whole industry is kind of pitching towards, which is more equipment based, and we're
Mhm.
starting to see all these new technologies and cranes and grapple saws that have kind of emerged over the past couple decades here. So he wanted to get rid of they were very much doing it kind of, you got a really strong guy and he pulled, big branches and stuff. We had a few mini skid steers and everything, but older equipment, an older bucket truck and everything, but he really wanted to invest in newer and bigger equipment. So we sold a bunch of equipment, we moved money around, got more jobs scheduled, figure out how to get things to be more efficient. Bought a crane, grapple saw to go on the crane, new bucket trucks, chippers, dingoes, bigger chip trucks, and kind of changed the direction equipment wise and operations wise that the company was used to. So now we've got our fewer workers. We only run one crew at the moment. But we do mostly crane work and tree removals with the grapple saw. Um, yeah, and it
Awesome.
worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah. So you came in, and then talk a little bit about that first year or two. I think
Yeah,
a lot of people probably in that wheelhouse where they're just getting started, and it's kind of like, man, I just burn the ships or burn the bridge there, burn the boats, and we're moving forward with this thing. So you're out
yeah.
there, you're doing it, you're getting jobs, you're getting referrals, you're starting to kind of get some momentum going. Talk me through that. Like, what were some of the first things you guys did to maybe get more customers? Was it signs?
Yeah.
Was it flyers? Was it all the above? What did you guys start doing?
It's been insane. So it's been 3 years since we purchased. So it's been insane because the difference year over year is a completely different company. The first year was rough. I wasn't here for maybe half of the first year. That's when I started building up the website and doing, a lot of the bases you gotta check. You get the logo set up and we got the mascot set up and a lot of kind of those foundational things. But the first year was rough. we had some employees that were lingering, that were I think some rush hires that didn't fit in exactly right, and we were plagued by breakdowns on old equipment. So pretty miserable year, and we made significantly less money than the years prior. So I think that year, if I remember right, was only like $200,000 that got made, and the company average before that was like 300 to 350. So first year was rough. I was pretty much focused on getting all of our digital marketing stuff built up from the ground up. Spencer was kind of figuring out what dealing with customers and everything was like on that end. We had a few, drop the ball quite a few times, especially with legal things where you get into you mix up exactly what was contracted for, and you figure out exactly how to build out your contracts, and then you need to have people sign these things, and moving on to a online software. So we chose Jobber to run the business. And so first year was getting all of that figured out. Second year was a lot of we kind of found our rhythm. The biggest things, I guess marketing wise, I'll kind of switch back to that. The first things I started on everything, because I came from a marketing background and I didn't want to pigeonhole us in anything or assume that one thing was better than the other. So I started everything we did. We did print ads, I did digital ads, Facebook, Instagram, Google AdWords, Google local service ads, which weren't as big of a thing back then. Starting the website, doing SEO, yard signs. I'm sure there's 100 more things, but
No, I mean, that's a good, collage of stuff right there. Cause it
yeah,
really, the way I like to always talk about it is it's just, you need to be omnipresent and everywhere because people are
yeah,
looking everywhere.
exactly,
Digital is a good portion of it, but email, texting, social media,
exactly,
yard
yeah. So,
signs,
social media.
flyers.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's one of the ones I forgot. A lot of posting and engaging with people on comments and everything. So did everything right off the get-go. Second year, we kind of found our pace. I cut out a lot of the things, marketing wise, I cut a lot of things. So stopped doing print ads. I immediately thought or found out print ads, you can't track where your customers are coming from. There's benefits to it, and I've seen some people work it out. I think it's a different marketing mix
Mhm.
depending on the company and the region and what you're doing. For us, print ads, we couldn't track where the leads were coming in very easily, and it was a lot of money for how many people got the print ad versus others. So on Facebook, say I could deliver that ad to 10,000 people for a couple $100. That print ad, cost me like $1,000 to get, a fraction of that same number of people. And then with the digital ads, I could track how many people came in, I could retarget them. There was a lot of benefits to digital. So I slowly cut out. Second year, we're kind of finding our pace. It was pretty much a grind. We paid ourselves basically nothing, and just put everything we could back into buying new equipment, getting new things up and running. So kind of narrowed down marketing. We ground our way towards equipment, and then that year I think we did about 350. So that was a bit better.
So kind of
Which
getting that momentum going after the
exactly, yeah,
first year and getting the equipment, getting the right fit, getting the launch pad ready to kind of really take it
exactly,
from there. And that's really what we see, man. I mean, everybody's got to go through that stage in their business. And if you want to start a business, there's no easy solution.
yeah,
The Rocky songs, there's no easy way out, right? You got to get in there and you got to just go head first and you got to get one customer, 10 customers, 100 customers. And what
yeah.
really, really helps you kind of see everything for what it really is in your business is what you said, a CRM software like Jobber, Single Ops, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter what kind it is, but that way your customers are building and you're building your list of
Yeah,
customers, which is going to be very valuable. Every year, that list becomes more and more and more valuable. So
exactly.
if you're putting everything into that system as opposed to just writing it down on, a notebook pad or whatever, you're going to always have access to it and you can see your job history there. You can keep in contact
Well,
with these people. I mean, it's just so much more value. I don't see how you really grow without being able to see all of that, right?
I would drown without it. I don't know
Yeah.
how. I honestly have no idea how.
It's literally how you run 80% of your companies through those CRMs. And then we found another really awesome piece of software called Company Cam recently, where you take all your
Oh, cool.
photos and they store them in there and you can upload them to your website. It's amazing. But just stuff like that, right? It just helps you exponentially grow versus, and you have intelligent decision making because of that. And if you don't have it, you don't really have your finger on the pulse of every little thing going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it just helps to be more transparent throughout. So that's awesome, man. So you guys kind of got some momentum, started rolling.
Yeah. And
The
that kind of,
branding.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, the branding started taking
Yeah.
over. Like people started remembering the name, and yeah, so it just kept on kind of evolving, I guess. And that was what, 2 years ago or last year? Now this year, this
Yeah.
past year was another third year.
This year, everything hit. This year we had an amazing year. We made, so revenue wise, we almost doubled. We went to 650. And that was, we were plagued with equipment breakdowns at the beginning of the year. We didn't, I think the grapple saw didn't even run for the first half of the year. Um, but it really took off. The team really clicked. We got all the trucks going. The brand blew up. It was incredible. All that work and groundwork we did into making it that iconic brand really started to show. I did a lot of SEO, a push on the SEO side. I think the way the marketing evolved is we started with everything, and then what really, really worked was the SEO, how highly we ranked and how many times you could answer somebody's question through an article or something like that, link back to our site. That absolutely exploded. And it's free, which is the massive benefit to that. It makes you look like the prime service in your area. It's free, drives a bunch of traffic, and then you own it forever. You don't have to pay anybody other than your web hosting, which is not even, you can't even market compared to what ad
We always
costs.
tell everybody the SEO, the organic, once you get there,
Exactly.
it's the cheapest cost per lead you're
Incredible.
possibly going to ever get. Yeah.
The Google My Business and Google Local Service ads. Google Local Service ads, they used to be a lot cheaper a couple of years ago, but whatever, we got very highly rated on Google Local Service. That was very, very worth it. And then our Google My Business. Actually, I had this out because this was a great book that I got. It's a very random book on Amazon by Kellen Marinov. So I think it's like a Russian name or Eastern European.
Hmm.
Um, but he has this great book. It pretty much reinforced a lot of the things that I had found out. But then he also, in that book, it had something I never found anywhere, which was your Google My Business radius, effectiveness radius. And he had gone and he tested it and saw how good the radius was. And I was frustrated because we serve the entire Grand Rapids area, but we were only getting where the Google My Business was located. When I moved here, we had moved the Google My Business to my house, which was closer to the center of the city,
Hmm.
away from Byron Center, which is one of our outside cities. Um, when I moved it here, we got a lot of more expensive jobs for higher end households, and we showed up higher on Google. But we lost kind of a lot of the range, and it was frustrating because I was like, well, we still serve, this entire bubble, and a lot of times it's very convenient to serve this as well. So what we did is we started putting up multiple Google My Business locations and calling them, the way that you do maybe a gas station or a retail store. And we'd say this is Treefish Byron Center, this is Treefish Caledonia, and then let's try to drive reviews to these separate locations and kind of increase our beacon radius. So technically, it is a location, it's a property purchased by Treefish, and we have some level of equipment and things stored there. And then it also increases the radius for free, that our marketing goes out for free on Google My Business. That was incredible. I think the biggest hurdle to that is now you suddenly need all these good reviews on all these locations. And Google's very specific. Like, I mean, you don't want to cheat it because that's not a very good thing to do, and you don't want to be the company that's paying for reviews, or
Yeah.
it's not a good look.
Hmm.
Uh, but what we did, we incentivized. We were asking for reviews after each job, which was it was getting us a good amount of reviews, more than I'd say other companies were getting.
Yeah, a little bit on that strategy, the multi-location strategy. If you can pull it off, it's super powerful and beneficial.
Yeah.
Back in the day, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, a strategy was like, hey, we service all of these suburbs around Grand Rapids or all these areas around Grand
Yeah.
Rapids, all these zip codes. Let's go get a Google Map listing verified in all these areas. And so you could go to the local UPS store, walk in, pay for your box fee,
Oh,
get the
yep.
box, and then start setting up these
Can't do
locations.
that
And you got
anymore.
10 of them around, or you could use post office, right? Either one. You got a
Yeah.
box, you got an address, you could get a card there. Well, that got battle axed about
Yep.
2018 or 2019. So you need a unique address, either commercial address. The Regis offices are risky. You might get up
Exactly.
verified, but it's going to get suspended at some point when they find it. And then residential works. If you do the video verification, residential will work.
Yep.
And then just a regular commercial address is usually pretty good. So to pull that off is key. If you can,
Yeah.
yes, you can definitely increase your calls. Yes.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Yeah, it is. It's a very fine line because you want it to be legitimate. Like it has to be a location that is a location in that area. You don't want to try to do. They don't allow PO boxes anymore. They don't allow anything that starts to get, you say you're drumming up reviews to it in illegitimate ways. Not great.
They track the email address. So if it's somebody that's just put up a new Gmail account, they're giving
Exactly.
reviews everywhere, boom, they get axed. And then you're at risk of getting your whole business profile suspended too. So yeah, there can be some negative things about it, but if you can get it and pull it off, I mean, of course, it works
Yeah.
very well. Yeah.
Wonderful. You got to do it by the books
Hmm.
but it's very beneficial. The way we did it, I gave our employees, they all have business cards with QR codes on them, and we wanted to make it a personal interaction after the job. They walk up and they say, "Hey, just to let you know, a 5-star review from you, they get a bonus per 5-star review on the job." And that's great for us. We know that they did a great job and the customer appreciate it. We give them a bonus for the 5-star review per job. That means that they're usually, more cognizant of doing a good job and following up with the customer. The customer's aware of it. Usually they're very happy about the work that we did for them.
I
And
love that. I
yeah.
love that, man. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. I was probably going to ask that at some point, or maybe I would have forgotten. But that the Google reviews are so powerful for
Oh
everything
yeah.
on your Google, all of your Google presence, all of your converting people to find you. Google's ranking algorithm kind of all predicates on getting reviews a lot nowadays because they're trying to eliminate spam, rightfully so. So if you're getting all these reviews all the time, it's more than likely you're probably a real legitimate business. So it
Exactly.
helps with your SEO, your Google Maps, radius, location, all that, and your Google local service ads. It benefits both.
Yeah.
So that incentive is very awesome to give. And a QR code, listen to this, guys. If you're on YouTube or anything, comment if you're watching this afterwards. If you have any other unique strategies to getting reviews, comment. Let us know what your strategies are. Other people watch these and they're curious too. But Bryce brought up a good point with the QR code. Everybody learned how to use QR codes during COVID, right? Nobody knew how to use them before. So now, literally QR codes, everybody knows how to scan them and pull up a website link, and you can literally put your Google Business Profile review link right there on a QR code. We've done this for a lot of clients too that have certain flyers they hand out and things like that. QR codes are powerful. And then if it's on the back of your business card, it's you're getting two birds with one stone there. You get your business card, turn it over. Did you get 5-star service? Would you please scan this and leave us a review type thing? And all they got to do is scan it. There's no thought process about it. And so I talked to this guy that was in San Antonio a couple of years ago, and he had like 800 reviews on his Google Business profile. I'm like, what in the world are you doing to get this many reviews? He goes,
That's incredible.
he does exactly what you're talking about. So he incentivizes each crew member
I gotta find
or
it.
salesperson. I think he pays $10 for every Google review. He
Yeah.
said, if we get 500 or 50 reviews in a month, I'm happy to pay out 500 bucks.
There it is right there. I can put it up to the camera, but you
Yeah,
can
that
kind
is
of see what
amazing.
that looks like right there. So it
Thanks
gives
for
them
sharing that. That's
bottom.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And we even this is another, I guess, piece of it is the branding. I mean, we always try to. So I love fun branding like that. We have,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had the benefit of, I had pretty extensive 3D modeling and animation experience. So we have our mascot, which is the fish that you kind of see. We've even got like our we have hood ornaments for our
Yeah.
trucks. The mascot right here.
So that goes on you guys' trucks currently?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
It's
nice.
fun. Yeah. But we got them in all these different poses. We give out, oh, like we've got right here, I got some stickers. I like tree people know, like you're doing tree work in a neighborhood and it's summertime and all the kids are off of school. You get crowds that watch you when you're doing this
Yeah.
crane, a climber up in a tree when you got a crane.
Same
So
in our
we've got,
neighborhood. Yeah.
yeah, we've got we got the he's feeding a chipper. We got a sticker of that. You hand them out to kids. We've got a sticker of him like on a dingo picking up a log, with a chainsaw, all this kind of stuff, and it all kind of builds up, and suddenly it's weird. You like all of a sudden in public, you see one of your stickers stuck up on something. You're like,
I think we're
hey,
doing something right here. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty great. It's like the little branding touch on everything is like, and making it every time someone runs into tree fish or every time they see tree fish, the goal is that it's not just, hey, we're a tree service in the area and we sell tree services. It's something special and fun and memorable. whether it's like, oh, there's that, oh, his goofy little, what's he doing now? The mascot's doing all this like crazy little fun stuff, and making that interaction more of a part of the community and something that people can engage with more than just trying to sell something. That has been one of the just, I get calls from people that say, is the fish going to be on the truck that pulls up? And I go, yeah, it's going to be on the truck. And they're like, then, we're choosing you over, we got a cheaper quote, but we're going to choose you. If the fish is on the truck, then we want you here. I'm like,
That's awesome. That means it's pretty much going viral at that point. Well, not everybody's lucky enough to have a marketing expert in their office running that part of the
yeah,
business. So
that's
it's really
tough.
amazing you guys got that, that angle. That's really cool. A lot of creative stuff, guys. If you're watching after the fact, it's pre-recorded, but if you're watching this, leave a comment below. What are some of the unique things you guys do to get Google reviews or to market or brand your company? Bryce just shared some really powerful stuff because that memorability just goes a long way. It's not just about getting leads, right? A lot of times
Yeah,
it's about, hey, how many leads am I going to get or whatever. That's great too, because you do need the phone to ring, but that branding is very, very powerful for the longevity of your business because all of that just continues to produce leads marginally month after month after month down the road that you don't see
exactly.
yet, but it's coming. And it
Exactly.
continues to build momentum and evolve every quarter, every year. And imagine you guys keep doing the same thing you're talking about right now for another 5 years, another 7 years, 8 years. I mean, it's just going to keep going and go. I mean, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, the reach and all of that.
That's what we hope for. It's very fun. I love hearing that's what makes it all kind of come together and work out is when you hear it's the little comments that you hear that people like I was hanging up. I used to do door hangers
Mm-hmm.
when we first started, and like it was the fish, and I can't remember the exact artwork on that one, but he was doing something goofy. And I put it on a door hanger, and I'm walking away from the door, and the guy opens up the door and takes it off, and his kid's with him. And his kid is like, what's it doing? And he's like, oh, oh, I think it was climbing a tree. We've got one where he's climbing up a tree on a saddle and everything. And the kid's like, is that climbing? He goes, what is that? Is that a fish? And his dad's like, yeah, it's a fish. And he's like, that's so cool. I'm like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
the whole wave that you don't see. And it's scary. I used to work with a lot of clients that you want to convince them to invest in that invisible force of branding and what the power of that is, but you don't initially see it. It's like very invisible, and you have to put a lot of faith that everything you're putting into it is having an impact. And being able to do that kind of without restrictions with tree fish, without somebody saying being scared or saying, I don't know about that. I don't see other tree companies doing that. That's been
Yeah.
a huge
Doesn't
bonus.
matter. That means nobody else is doing that. That means you're going to be unique in the market. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I got to give Spencer and Craig a lot of leeway because when I came on board, they were entirely bought into this dream of making this company that was more than just a marketing tool and something special. And we really kind of run with it.
Well, you guys are doing it, man. You guys, I mean, the proof is in the pudding with the year over year, 3 year growth. So, talk a little bit about, are you guys doing any like customer base marketing? Like you've got your customer base building up in Jobber. What are you doing to reach out to people or anything?
Yeah, emails are great. I it's horrible. I've had to stop. We've been so bombarded with business. I've heard you talk about before. You have the seasonal problem. We had the opposite problem. We got so booked out so fast that it just became very, very hard and complicated to keep up with everybody. So I've kind of had to. It's been very hard, but I have to take everything back a step and go, okay, well. For a little bit, we were doing constant social media updates, trying to build a following on Facebook and Instagram, and sending out emails and doing videos of talking head and things like that. And they worked so great.
So
It
sending an email with like a video to like a YouTube video,
exactly.
like a link to a YouTube
Oh,
video or something like that.
exactly that. So it'd be a blog just about say. So an example is and so we get everybody's emails that we've been collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be like, okay, so there's a lot of things like tree trimming, fertilization, things like that, things you can resell, especially even tree removals on people with a lot of trees on the property. So we'd re-email them. I'd write a blog about, something like, how do you know it's time for your tree to go? And I think I named it that one in particular is saving or sawing. Is it time for your tree to go? And so we write a blog article about that. But then a blog article, a lot of people don't sit down and read the things anymore. People do, and it's a great way to engage with people. But if you really want to, adding that video element adds a whole nother level because then they can listen to it while they're driving, or they can watch it instead of reading. And then a whole other level on top of that. I did a few where I just shot a video, very informational. Um, but while I was editing it, I was getting bored, and I was like, if I'm getting bored editing this, people are going to get bored watching it. And so we took some extra time. We did a few videos like this where we treated it like a comedy. And I was like, we got to inject jokes into here. This has to be funny. This has to be fun and engaging at all points while they're watching this. So we'd send out these emails where it's like it's me talking about, you know, I think like something was the guy loved. You ever the one about the guy who loved his tree too much? I can't remember. He was like, well, it fell for him too, right onto his house and stuff like that. And you drum it up a little bit, and those got great comments and they were shared around, and those were a lot of fun. So engaging people like that, it's engaging with them, getting back to them and saying, there's the first level of, hey, do you need tree work done this year? Remember, we're still here. That's a great strategy. Keeps them coming back. There's the next level of, hey, here's a little bit of a production we're putting on. And then there's kind of the finesse that we put on top. I was like, I want this to be an experience. I want them to be laughing. I want it to be when you can connect with someone emotionally, on top of that, that's when you've hooked into their soul. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, those are amazing points, man. If more people in the trades would do video marketing, they would blow
Exactly.
up so much faster. And it's not just for digital, right? People, when they watch the videos, they can relate with you. They know who they're doing business with. They can get to know you on the video before ever even speaking. So then it's more likely that they're going to call your company over somebody else who does not have the video. But some of the most easiest things that tree companies can do out in the field is just explain
Yeah,
maybe the intricate way that you're going to remove a tree and keep the home and the property safe
exactly.
and not tear up the grass. That's a good video. Here's how to remove a tree the right way in such and such city, or however you want to, wordsmith the video subject. But then have that video. It doesn't have to be long, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe tops, a minute, 2 minutes,
Exactly.
whatever, and just explain how you do it. That's one. The next one is, like you said, like when do you know if a tree is dead or when to remove the tree? Well, here's some signs we look for here. You just show those types of things. Everybody's curious about those types of things. So when you're answering their questions in these videos, and you can send out an email and say, hey, look, we just put on another video. You might have the same question. Check it out. And then they click on it, go watch it. They might subscribe to your YouTube channel. YouTube's also a search engine. So people are searching for stuff like that in
Exactly.
the local community, and they're going to find you there. So it's just another fishing pole in the water, with your
Yeah.
strategy with marketing. And that's so powerful, man. If tree service companies would just do demonstrations. Another thing too is people that do plant healthcare, tree healthcare, explaining, how they're doing this deep root fertilization into this tree trunk because this tree looks dead, or just it doesn't have to be long. Again, maybe pull out the video camera at the first, have somebody film you doing it, or applying the fertilization treatments or spraying if they have different
Exactly.
pests or something. All of that's going to make people gravitate to your company because hardly anybody in any market is doing that.
And we did a lot of testing. This is a whole, I haven't even touched on this yet. But we did a lot of testing with video. Facebook was a huge, the reporting tools that you get on Facebook ads really help you hone in what is working really well. So we did 3 or 4 different types of videos that I said I probably put them into categories because they're like a different machine each time. So there's what you're talking about. All you have to do, you take your cell phone, you go out onto the job, um, and you record yourself, or you just record what the job is doing. That's the easiest one, and those work great. They circulate wonderfully. People comment. People want to see, like, if they did work with you, they want to see that. You boost it on Facebook for like $50, and you get a bunch of comments on it. People share it. You get phone calls from people where they say, "I saw you were down the street from me on Facebook." They don't even follow you. You just boosted it. So those
Yeah.
were great. I'd say the next level of them was I don't think I mean tree workers know it, but like tree work is insane. It's super cool. Like every day the things you get to watch happen are like the wildest dreams of the regular worker. When you're out there in like a huge tree, just you do just a fellet, and it's the ground shakes for a mile. That people love that. So like you just take your cell phone. Every cell phone's got slow-mo and time ramp, all this stuff. You set your cell phone on a rope bag where the tree's gonna fall, and you let it smash your phone. You get a great video out of it. My phone's surprisingly made it through every single one. But you get this amazing slow
So,
motion video.
so the tree's coming right down on top of the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes
You
you feel like
did
it's coming right at your head probably when you're watching it.
you put that up as an ad, people lose their minds. People love that. You do a speed ramp of a stump grinder going through. Like it's satisfying. You watch the stump grinder go cuts all the way through the stump. You put up these satisfying videos that people like it's like human nature to like yearn to see some of these entertaining things that you just get to see on a daily basis. And sometimes you don't think uh that that's that interesting. Like you're like, oh, I'm just climbing this tree, I'm just dropping a log or whatever. But to some people, watching that log that weighs what a car weighs hit the ground, they lose their minds over that.
And maybe if you're up in a very high, height in a tree in the bucket on the spider lift or
Yeah.
anything else, or up top of the crane, whatever that is, and you got those big aerial views. Some of our clients have gotten drone footage videos
Oh
taken.
yeah.
Powerful, man. Like stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, people love
People
watching
love
this stuff.
pulling out their houses and yeah, great stuff. I'd say there's two other type of videos too, because we did those two. And I think there's a lot, I see a good amount of tree companies doing both of those, and those work. The metrics that I saw on both of those videos, especially if you can get them into reels, those videos that people
Yeah.
just scroll
Yeah. They
through.
seem to show more often in the reels. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They show a lot. You get so many people looking through them. And then even if it's just by accident, they click to your website. And when you get more clicks to your website, SEO right up.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they're going to start reading the stuff on your website, and
actually.
the time people sit on your website is a ranking signal too.
Yep.
The longevity. So even video embeds on your website help too, because then they watch the video while they're sitting on your website. That's another trick. That
Exactly.
helps as well. And then you can retarget all those people like you talked about before that
Yeah.
have watched 20 seconds of a video or any part of the video.
Huge.
Amazing.
Super
Yeah.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
There's two other types of videos I think we tried. One was it's me in front of I've got like a green screen, not for keying out, but for like a background. And I just tell jokes about trees and things like that. And it's a little bit, we talk about the fact that we do tree work, but it's also just, sitting up there trying to be funny. We're just like, I'm saying things and being like, hey, you got a tree that looks like this ugly thing right here, something like that. And we, Photoshop some things up and put up funny graphics and things like that. Those worked super, super well. Again, a lot of people watching them, a lot of people sharing them and commenting on them.
Yeah,
Those
like
were
maybe you have a tree that's an ugly duckling like this. We can turn it into
exactly,
this and then have an after photo. Yeah.
exactly.
Those are
We're
some
like,
really unique strategies that anybody could do if they
yeah,
put forth the time to do it, right? And it's sometimes just I know everybody's swamped with their business a lot of times, and it's
yeah,
that's just one more thing I've got to do. But just taking the time to do that once a month or
yeah.
twice a quarter maybe just to have something new. That's great tips. You guys are getting a marketing clinic today.
I'd say that's one of the best things to like. I think a lot of people, especially when I was working with clients, I heard the same thing a lot, where they're like, "Oh well, that video is a month old now or 2 months old now. Let's shoot a new one and cut the old one." I'm like, you can keep that up for. I don't. Do you remember there's a commercial of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. The soup falls off the rack and it rolls home to a little girl who picked it
Yeah, I
up.
think I remember that. Yeah.
They ran that ad for like 25 years. Pe People didn't stop loving it for
Well,
25.
you could do this once a quarter for a couple of years and have eight or
Yeah,
10 different variations of these funny videos or viral videos, and then just keep boosting different ones every quarter, right? And
exactly.
content, and just add
Mix
some
it up.
as you go.
Exactly. You mix it up, you add some. You sometimes people they see it pop up again, they're like that was pretty funny. I want to watch that again. Or that tree fall was pretty cool. I want to watch that again. So there's not a time limit that I think people think they're like locked into on some of these videos. Like you don't have to, it's not, you have to do it for fun when you feel like you have something to contribute and then keep it up for a long time. You don't have to necessarily stress yourself out with these arbitrary timelines.
Well, if anybody's got any questions on this stuff, go to Treefish's Facebook page, and I'm sure they can see a lot of good, like just
Yeah,
examples of these types of videos. And you can get your own ideas, right? And kind of incorporate your brand into those types of videos. Because again, the uniqueness of the video and then the personality of you and the business owner or the crews or whatever, that's what's going to humanize your business instead of just being another tree company. You're human now, and people see who the people are behind the company, so they're more likely to call and relate with you. And
exactly.
you get that job or get that future work too. So
People love you hear it in phone calls when people call you. It's like within months it starts collecting and you really see the benefit of it, which
that's
is
awesome.
Yeah. And I'd say the last type of video we did was probably the hardest for people to get to, but we were able to do it because I personally I really like I'm a big nerd about video effects and funny ads and everything, but we really took it up. And we did so like we would do this crazy absurd scenario. And these ads worked the best, which is kind of why I bring them up, because the longevity of them works for so long. Where we'd say, okay, we're gonna do an ad about tree trimming, but the person getting the tree trimmed is gonna be a wizard, and he's gonna be hiring tree fish. And the tree does not want to get trimmed. He's a magical alive tree with a face, and he's trying to swat the tree guy that's trying to trim him. And in the end, he grabs the tree guy and just throws him off into the distance. He's like, "You're not going to trim me," or something like that. And at the end, it's like, "You got a tough job. Tree fish is here for it." And we had another one where stump grinding one, just sell more stump grindings. The margins are really good on stump grindings. We have an old stump, and we found a way to green screen a guy with a beard. So just the beard and the eyebrows show up on this old stump, and he's sitting in the front yard, and he's this old crotchety stump, and he's going like he's yelling at everybody. He's like, "Get out of here!" And they're like, "We gotta get rid of this old stump." And he starts getting ground out, and he's like, "Ow, ow, stop it!" So we do,
Yeah.
things like that. We just recently did one entirely 3D, like 3D characters and everything, where this old guy's freaking out because this branch is slowly snapping, getting closer and closer to his roof, and he's got sweat pouring down his face. And um, right when the tree branch falls, the crane grabs it out of the air and pulls it back to the ground. And those ones, I mean, no one expects to see stuff like that. And
They can't forget it either after they see it.
exactly. And I think that the reason I wanted to bring that up from what, because they perform very, very well. Um, and it's scary to do stuff. I know it's like for business owners, it's very scary to do things like that, because you have to, like, do you go to a video company? Do you do something like
Yeah.
that? Um, but there are a surprising number of resources out there to get something like that done. I mean, you can, for there's tens of thousands of dollars that, like, one of those tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars for all those ads cost when I do it professionally. But some of these, I'll contract with somebody on, you go to Upwork or something like that, and you find somebody that this is what they do. And instead of hiring a whole company in your local service or something like that, this person makes a killing, and they just charge a couple grand per one of these short videos or something like that. They don't have to be 10 to 15 seconds. That's all you got to do.
Right.
10 to 15
That's the
seconds.
whole new short form content, like timeline,
Exactly.
10, 20 seconds, maybe tops. Yeah.
Exactly. You make sure you get it sized for all of the different, make sure you get it sized for reels so that people can see it while they're scrolling through. You get all the different sizes for all the different ad platforms. Streaming is another great, there's a lot of companies, especially in any local area. There's companies that will sell your ads on streaming platforms like Hulu, so while people are watching TV. It's not as expensive as, like, say, I see a lot of people put up billboards.
Hmm.
If you do a billboard right, it works pretty well. But 2 to 3 grand for a billboard per month, or 2 to 3 grand gets you a lot of streaming ads, a lot of them going to a lot of people that you can retarget. Um, and a lot of people see it, and it ends up being crazy the results you'll see when you can watch your leads come into your website, retarget them, and actually see who's seeing what and who's interacting with what, and being able to measure that, incredible
That's
compared to.
amazing, man. Great share. And so Tree Fish is doing a little bit of everything. And that's kind of our methodology too with our digital
Yeah,
marketing. It's like, you talked about the website, you talk about the SEO and answering questions on blog articles, showing proof of work on the website, on social media, Google Maps optimizations, getting those reviews, because that's going to help kind of push up everything else, rankings, conversions on people that do see it, local service ads, Google ads, social media. You're managing and marketing to your customer base, which is essentially building a fence around your customers, because they've used you once, they like you. Don't let them forget about you. That's really the name of the game with the email marketing. And you can also incorporate text marketing with certain incentives and different times of
yes, yeah,
year and specials and holidays. That's another thing. I mean, there's so many things you can do simultaneously. And if you do them all, they can't help but remember you and know you. And then when they need tree service, they're definitely going to call you because they can't think of any other tree company. Right. And so that's kind of the name of the game, and pretty much what Treefish's methodology is too for marketing. Luckily, they've got an in-house marketing guru that can take care of all this stuff and do it for them. And I would just say, if you don't have that, find somebody, local agency, any kind of person or anything you can do. If you really want to grow and you want to spread the word fast, this is the way to do it. And you can literally go from, first year to 3 years, 5 years to doing, seven figures, multiple seven figures in your business if you can get that marketing thing right. And then also, field the demand of people calling. That's the whole other thing. It's fulfillment and operations and the personnel. It's a juggling act, right? In business. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you have to put all the other pieces together as you're getting more and more and more calls coming in. And it sounds like your viral marketing strategy is so effective that it's produced another problem. Like, we got to get everything buttoned up in the field and get everybody taken care of, right?
Yeah, we have to cut this last year. We had to cut all paid ads. We had to cut it completely, which was a huge bummer. But it's the way
Good
business.
problem to have though if your schedule is completely booked out. Because you think about it, like, people a lot of times don't want to wait 2 months or 3 months. Now, if it's a good steady customer and it's not an emergency, a lot of people will.
Yeah,
And the way a lot of these tree companies do too is like, hey, look, if you can wait till December when we slow down a little bit, I'll give you 15% off, or you wait till stuff like that, right? Do you guys offer anything like that sometimes?
we do. We had to stop this year just because it was, the percent off. What we ended up telling people is a lot of the time we're just having a, we're very overbooked this year. If you're okay with waiting until this date, or sorry. And a lot of people will. What's amazing about investing in your brand, that you don't like, you immediately your mind goes to leads, when it comes to marketing everything. But there's this invisible other part that people don't talk about as much when you invest into your brand, which is people like you. Um, they want to be around you and they want to choose you as the company. So
It's your business personality, right?
exactly. So we're just honest with them. We say we're very booked this year. We're trying our best. Everyone's working very, very hard. But we're booked out 4 months. So if you want to work with us, we would really like to have your business. It is going to be 4 months away from now, but if you're okay with that, we'll put you on the schedule. And a lot of times they're, oh yeah, do it in spring. We don't care. Um, you
Well,
know,
that's almost a pull away sale, which is very effective. It's like, hey, look, if you can't wait 4 months, I'm sorry, we're the best company around. But if you can't wait 4 months, we understand, right? It's kind of that sort of angle, and it is the truth, which is more powerful than telling somebody something that may or may not be true. And that's, if you're
exactly.
doing the right thing and you're booked out that far, that pull away, that takeaway is going to let people know that, well, they're super swamped right now. They're probably the best company I need to be calling anyway. So that's effective too. So that's a
Yeah.
good strategy.
We've even had it's hilarious. I've like laughed at some of these because we've even had people where you get some of these calls where like part of the job is an emergency. Part of the job of branch is hanging over over the house or something fell, and then the other they always say, well, while you're doing that, we also need all the trees in the back trimmed or something.
Yeah. So it doubles
So
invoice, right? So then
exactly. But what's
yeah.
hilarious is these people call about the emergency job and then they have the backup job that they want to have done too. And so they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're really booked out. We won't be able to get to the emergency thing for you. So, if that's something you need done immediately, we're sorry." And they go, "Oh, we'll have another company do the emergency thing, but then we'll have you do the regular work." And I'm like, usually that's one job, but
Yeah.
you know,
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I got no doubt if you guys continue at the pace you're at now, you're going to have to add another crew, double
we're
the
trying.
revenue. Yeah. Then that's going to take you to another doubling the revenue, and it just continues to evolve. And we've had those kind of stories. I mean, we had a client in Cleveland, and they went from 0 to 3.5 million in like a 3 to 4 year period. They were doing big direct mail, digital, right, and all of
Yeah,
that. But they had an investor that came in and I think funded a lot of the beginning stages and
that
stuff.
would be a huge help. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's part. But the smart way to do it, honestly, if you don't have that backing, is just incrementally keep growing comfortably. You're still having fun. There's no race to the finish line. So you've got the time's going to go by anyway. Might as well be building a good business and keeping your
Exactly.
team solid. Because if you go too fast, sometimes the quality can be reduced. So
That's the
yeah,
worst thing, I think. We talk about that often. We talk about we could like we've talked about often we could fill another crew. We could fill another two crews up with work and get them going, but what if they're not a good fit? What if this person it's so hard when you're hiring in tree service especially. It is rough when you're hiring people. You have no idea what the personalities are going to be. One person rude to a customer, it's not you get the call that from the customer that they had a bad experience like that, and It does not mesh with everything. So taking it slowly, we've made a deliberate decision that it's going to be slow, and we want to find the right people who want to be here and to kind of share the same, because we got a great group of people right now, very friendly, loving people, that our customers love. And you know, that those interactions are what make life worth living. And if you try to force growth, and shove people into positions and hope for the best, I think you lose a lot of that.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more, man. But having the right team is really a very important thing. What do they say about bad news travels like 10 times faster than good news? So you don't want people out there messing up your brand and the name of your company and things like that. So that's
Yeah.
a true story, man. I want to be respectful of your time, Bryce. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
It's been
love
absolutely
talking about it.
awesome. Awesome so far. Lots of value. If you guys get any value, comment, below the video, or if you're on the podcast, like and subscribe to our podcast. Bryce has been gracious enough to share all of his secrets there, or most of his secrets. I'm sure he's got a couple others up his sleeve that he doesn't want to
Oh,
divulge into this interview. But these have been great, man. These are very unique, out of the box strategies that are, quite frankly, like almost free if you just do the videos with your cell phone. And then
exactly.
if you're good with social media, or you can get the videos to your social media manager or your agency. At least they have footage and content to be able to promote you guys, your business, your tree service business. But I just
Exactly.
see that too. Like there's a lot of companies out there. Sometimes there might be 10 main tree companies in the area. And yeah, everybody wants to be at the top of Google search. They want to dominate. But the other angle is the branding part of it. And that's the part that's going to take you further, faster, incrementally faster than somebody who doesn't do a lot of that stuff. And we see
Yeah.
that. We see that all the time. I mean, you guys are a complete example of that, right? In just 3 years, you've gone to what you've gone to, and people are already remembering you. And hey, is the fish coming out, and asking questions like that? I mean, that's a testament to what you're doing. Any parting words, or maybe since you guys just kind of got through that initial ramp up stage, and what would you say to maybe somebody just getting started, man? Just hunker
Oh,
down
jeez.
and just keep your foot forward, right? Just keep on putting one foot in front of the other every day.
When you're working at 10 p.m. and it's dark and it's rainy and you're knee deep in mud and every single last bit of energy has been sapped out of your system, uh, yeah, it's horrible. It's like the worst thing. You're like, why on earth? And I don't even have to, I've been thankful enough to have other people have to take the brunt of that moment, but we've had our fair share of everything's downhill. All the equipment's broken. You're stuck middle of the night. You haven't had dinner yet. Your family's missing you, and everything seems to be the worst. But it always seems to for every one of those moments, we've had one of these moments that are so cool that I can't imagine having not tried to put everything forward into this. And I feel bad being the only you know representative of the company here because everybody else is out working hard. Um, but everyone's got stories like that and moments like that where it was always worth it. All the it's tough stuff you got to go through.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And when it rains, it pours in both
Yeah.
directions. It's either a lot of good stuff or a lot of bad stuff. It seems like coming in spurts like that. And that's just basically paying your dues. I think as any business owner, there's always going to be a ramp up startup phase. And if that's why, what is it, 95% of the population has a job or works for somebody else, because it is hard, man. It's hard mentally, not just physically or just, financially getting everything put into place, but just mentally, the roller coaster of business ownership I think is just not for everybody. But if you can sustain that first few years, that's really the most difficult part. And after that, the momentum starts carrying you forward. And so it gets easier and easier. Do you guys have any maybe tricks to hiring, or are you guys kind of constantly like putting out things about hiring and things too?
Yeah, well, that's been another very nice part about getting the brand and the SEO with the SEO and the rankings. I missed this, but we were with that incentive, we were able to we're one of the top ranked in Grand Rapids right now. I think for the number of reviews that we have, our level of review is the highest. So we're up with all the big boys that we were scared of 3 years ago. So and with that and the brand kind of going around, we've been able to people just kind of come to us. We've tried to go after other people early on. We did a lot of Facebook ads, we did a lot of things like that to try to draw people in. Um, and it changes the dynamic, I think, a certain way where you get this influx of people that maybe aren't there because they specifically want to be there for your company. They're just there because they're for a job, and that's totally fine. That's a
Mhm.
portion of the population. But when we pulled back and it was more about the brand and more about the reviews, now we get people that just come to us out of the blue and they say, I was looking at companies where I just know of Tree Fish and I want to work for you guys. Yeah, and we have those conversations with people, and we want to intentionally hire very slowly for a very specific group of people. And so far, it's been wonderful. Um, Everyone that we work with is an absolute blast, and yeah, wouldn't trade any of them.
That's awesome. That's kind of the core values, mission statement thing, right? If people align with that, then that's so. If you out there and you're telling your business story every day, social media, and people see how you are and how you operate, and they gravitate, the right people will gravitate to that, and the
Exactly.
wrong people will typically disqualify themselves from that, right? Has that kind of been your experience? If you,
Exactly. And you've
yeah,
only got so much time in the day. You can't, you want 12 people, say it's half an hour per interview, and then then you're stuck with with that maybe group that you're not really, that happy with, and then you want to trial somebody for a day or contract them for a day or something like that. You've only got a certain amount of time, and if you're pouring your time to these people that really they could be at your company or they'd be at another company, they couldn't care less.
right,
And
they're
they're
just bouncing around looking for a job. Yeah,
exactly. So, when you really take that time into account, especially when you could be out doing a job for X amount of dollars a day, but instead you have to hold somebody's hand through that day, you know, it ends up affecting your bottom line. So the amount of time that you have to put into to people that don't even really want to be there versus people that found you and are excited to be there, really makes a difference too. Yeah.
yeah, no, great point, great share, man. Thanks for sharing that. I think today has been an eye-opening marketing clinic from Bryce here with Tree Fish. He's really shared a lot of good nuggets on things that are out of the box that you can do for really low cost. Just creativity is really basically the name of the game. And of course, I mean, if you want those professional videos done, there's paid things you can do to get those created, but maybe not necessarily to start. Just get something going, and then you can kind of continue to evolve it, make it better. So anybody watching this, put these things into action, and we'll have to get Bryce on again for any new, strategies, cutting edge that he comes up with that he wants to. We'd love to get an update maybe in a year or two if you'd like, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Join and tell us how you're doing and all of that. Anything else maybe pops up that is unique that you want to share? You're perfectly welcome to come back.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to. Hopefully I can drag a couple of the others on. They're a bit more camera shy than I am, but I can drag a couple of them on
That's
here.
that's fine, man. The more the merrier. That'd be great. Well, thanks so much for your time, and we'll definitely do it again sometime in the near future. If you guys are watching this, join our Facebook group, Tree Service Marketing Secrets. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and podcast. We got plenty more interviews coming up soon. And guys, make it a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.